Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. And for anybody that is on any type of normal thinking, even if, especially if you're conservative for that matter, your life is in danger. And the reason why your life is in danger is because the far left, the very far left, wants you killed. Because this is something that they've been spouting ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I'm mainly starting to think that this was a red herring a long time ago, mostly just due to the fact that we just learned our actual true thoughts, and we're seeing it come out in bright as day. We have this here where Jennifer Welch, a Democratic person, very far left, is wishing for the death of conservatives along with the death of Democrats as well if they don't fall in line. So without further ado, we're going to get right to the end of this and kind of show you kind of what's been going on. So we have this here from Colin Rugg, pretty much showing a clip of Jennifer Welch, which is a liberal broadcaster, which she suggests the Democratic establishment needs to get on board with wanting conservatives dead, or else far leftists will come after you in the same way that we come after MAGA. And you'll understand exactly what we mean by this when you watch the video.
Zoran thing is happening just in New York, and you think people are waking up only in New York City, you're mistaken. Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
Whatever his name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you be
sorry.
glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
I think we need to...
So listen up, Jim.
So she's laughing. The friend is also laughing over the death of people's different opinions. Jennifer Welch, this demon here, is also laughing over the death of people's different opinions. So where do we go from here if we're having people, quite honestly, laugh at the death of people having different opinions? So, like, what are we doing here exactly? This is the reality that you want. This is the reality that we want to see into our future kids, into our country, where people have different values, different points, yet we want the death of them. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to make it $1.50 here. If you're going to be the one to support the Democratic Party, then this is what you support as well. You know why? Because these are the people that are making headway and are on the ones that are out on the streets advocating for the death for people that have different opinions than you. That's what's wild behavior. And when you're saying like, oh, well, the other side is crazy, well, then go look at yourself. Go look who you're advocating for. Go look who you're voting for. And this is the reality that we have. Hate to break it to you, but this is just a part of the Democratic mantra. You can't say Charlie Kirk's a bad person, yet then vote and support and be on the side of the people that are advocating for the same thing. I mean, you're just being a hypocrite at this point.
Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit, or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA. Period. Stop taking AIPAC money. Go on an I'm sorry I took AIPAC money atonement tour if you want to stay in power. Stop missing out on these big rallies. Hakeem and Chuck should have been front and center introducing the next mayor of New York City, but no, they wouldn't show up because they're pussies. They're pussies that are beholden to the same corporations that that helped Donald Trump get elected. And this is just an embarrassment. Kudos to Bernie, to AOC, to Zoran. And that woman out in somewhere middle America saying, fuck Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, he was a piece of shit. There are so many more of us than there are of them. And these Democrats that continue to play patty cake with corporations and lobbyists Nobody wants that. Nobody wants you. We want politicians to speak freely and look at what the benefit is. Look at what is happening in New York. And you dipshits are sitting on the sidelines, running your social media like complete dorks. It's embarrassing. Get your shit together. Hakeem and Chuck, seriously, get your shit together, because the Democratic Party is moving on. We are moving on.
So I want people to understand a little bit here, all right? Because the point that I'm trying to get here is that these are what these people are voting for. They want you dead. They want you bleeding on the street. This is what every normal American would be highly against, and that's just normal. Where you don't advocate for the death for somebody that is against your values, against your points. And that's what she's saying. If people are saying like, oh, well, she's not advocating for the death, well, then how is it when you go from you watch this clip here, this girl here saying that you want the death of her, you want her to die. That's what she's saying. And this woman even says, you want the death of me too? And this woman here says maybe. She says maybe. And then she said that this person here, her friend here, says that she would want this person, that her friend just want her person to die. And she puts her mouth up like kind of laughing. And then you have this here where this woman's laughing as well. This woman's laughing. And then she goes out and say this. Let me repeat this real quick here to get the concept of what this is.
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit, or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA.
That is pretty much saying that this woman here will go out and kill you if you are part of MAGA or anything that is a side of MAGA, if you don't step in line. That's what she's saying here. That's the insanity in all of this. So let's just make it $1.50 that these people are wanting the death of Americans. And the fact that we do not have Donald Trump here, or our government, our federal government, saying, hey, we need to take this person down. This is their actual YouTube channel, where it has 1.3 million subscribers and it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and this person needs to be immediately cut off. They immediately get cut off. They need to be shut down in post-haste, because they're advocating for the death of Americans, essentially, for people that disagree with them. That is wild behavior, and we cannot be allowing this to happen. This entire podcast, this entire show should be immediately shut down, and then potentially her arrested if somebody dies, because that is the reality that we're dealing with here. That's just the insanity. And you're like, oh, it's against freedom of speech. No, it's not. Because when you start advocating violence against a certain group of people, especially a political group of people, that is a sign of political violence and threats. And that is against the First Amendment. So miss me with that BS. It's gotten so bad that even Democratic John Fetterman is against this.
My party, but clearly we've lost the argument, and right now I think it's entirely appropriate to really be honest and just figure out why exactly have we effectively lost 2 out of the last 3 cycles, and a lot of the things we've really kind of really lost our connection with American voters in ways. And I think we can't just be, well, Trump is always wrong, or that we're going to set the country on fire or whatever. That's just not true either, of course. But, when I represent a state like Pennsylvania, that keeps you honest. And you always can't forget that a lot of Americans happen to disagree with you. That does not mean that they are fascists or now they want to shred the Constitution.
But when you hear some Democrats saying Trump is acting like an autocrat.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you actually compare him to an actual autocrat, that is not just that. Now, last night, for example, people were complaining. They were protesting about, oh, that's the Hitler thing. You just don't ever compare anyone to Hitler and those kinds of extreme things. And now look what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, the man was shot. Now we have to turn the temperature down. It's like we can't compare people to these kinds of figures in history. And this is not an autocrat. This is a product of a democratic election.
So you don't think that Trump is at all shattering any of the norms of democracy in any way?
I'm saying he's definitely different, but that's what America voted for. Again, I don't agree with many of these things, but that does not make him an autocratic.
But one of the things that I hear from Democrats a lot saying a reason why voters may not like Democrats is because they don't fight hard enough. Democrats should be fighting harder. What do you say to folks who say that?
What exactly is fighting? What is fighting? Delay more votes, or just vote every no on everything, or saying, well, if they're doing X, well, then that means it's wrong, that kind of a thing. It's like, what exactly is fighting?
I'll give you an example. It could be shutting the government down. Like some Democrats say, if this happens, it'll be Trump's fault.
That's not fighting. That's mutilating our nation. If you vote to shut our government down, you are going to harm millions of Americans. And why would you do this? Where's our leverage? It was wrong. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. Absolutely, that's true. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. It would just be wrong for us for those things.
Bigger picture.
Yeah. So again, even the Democratic Senator John Fetterman, which I'm going to slightly warm up to a tiny bit here, is saying enough is enough. Stop doing this. Like, what you're doing is hurting American people, and it's not going to be beneficial to you in the long run. And calling people Americans and these Americans and Trump and etc. fascists or what have you is not a benefit. It's not good. And this is what they need to understand here. That this is a detriment to the Democratic Party. It's a detriment to the American people. And these radicals, these communists, these crazy people are trying to get ahead, and it's just not gonna do well. This is a huge problem, and this is only going to destroy the Democratic Party, because once these people get in and just start destroying these cities, just start destroying these parts of America, in these states, there'll be a massive shift. So this is not going to help the Democratic Party. This is a long-term investment of destroying it in the long run. And we have to come down and say, like, okay, we need to start arresting these people that are inciting violence. We need to start doing insurrections. Insurrections in terms of the Insurrection Act, so we can stop these people, because enough is enough, and this radicalization needs to stop. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends, and be safe.